are back for day 18 of Force Fetch with Liesel. Today we're going to start off with a field drag. So it's something she's done a couple of times before. She's getting more and more confident with increased distances. So today I've laid out a drag that's about 175 meters, which is just a little shy of the 200 meters that the feathered game drag would be at an HCP or a VGP test. So for today I'm using a thawed out pheasant. It's the same pheasant I used yesterday. I just left it in the fridge overnight, so now it's fully thawed out. And I trust her to retrieve it, so that's why we're using that today. Make sure when you lay these longer drags that you've left the game at some sort of discernible landmark that you can see from distance, so that you know if the dog is finding the game or not. And that way too you can, maybe yell a fetch command or give a come whistle as soon as you notice that the dog has found the game, if there's any hesitancy in them picking up and bringing it right back to us. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get her started. I do have a feather pile to start her with. I've got my drag rope, or my slip lead. I'm just going to put the knot around my wrist. I'm going to wind the loose end through the O-ring on her collar. Go under her armpit and blow her down. Give her a good nose full and take a couple steps in the right direction just to get her started. What is that? Alright, she picked it up right away. Tried to move to a new field where there wouldn't be stickers. But of course there are some prickly pear cactus, so we're still seeing some limping there. She was starting to come back towards me, and then for whatever reason started working in a different direction. So I'm just going to give her the whistle. When you're out at these big distances for the first time, or really any time training throughout the year, it's important to get them in the habit of coming back directly. So I didn't give her a lot of time there to mess up. Just wanted to give her the whistle, make sure she's coming in like she's supposed to. And then of course you can praise as long as the dog's behaving. Good girl! Such a good dog! Always try to give your dog a bathroom break before you start a training session. I did not. She'd been in the house for the last few hours. Good girl. Good. Drop. Good job. Such a good girl. Good. Good girl. Alright, Liesel, come here. Sit. So not perfect, because she did need the one call command, but again, it's February, tests aren't till September, we've got plenty of time to perfect it, but at least you're getting the idea of how to do this. I think I had 4 turns in that one, so she's getting more used to following the track too and going wherever it may lead. So I think this will be the last field drag that we record for this video series. Once the dogs are getting further and further out, it doesn't really make for good video quality. And again, there's nothing really else I can show you that you can't pick up on your own from here on out. Hopefully you have a little bit better luck finding some nice grassy fields. Usually we have some good ones around here, but we're in a bit of a drought. It's super dry. and it's really led to a lot of these species like the stickers and the prickly pear being more abundant just because of the drier soils. So that's what we're stuck with. But for now, I think we'll put the pheasant away, and I'm going to grab a couple of dummies. Okay, so once you've been working with real game for a little bit, I do feel like it's important to switch back to regular dummies. Real game is obviously more exciting for the dogs. They have a little more desire to retrieve it generally. So when you switch back to just regular boring dummies, in this case a pair of Dokken dummies, it's a really good test to see if they still remember all the lessons we learned and that they know they still have to go out and retrieve even something less desirable. So I think we'll set up just a double marked retrieve drill. We haven't done one of those in several days. And I'm just going to throw these dummies as far as I can and make sure she takes an appropriate line for each one. Liesel, ready? Come here. Sit. Stay. I think it's a good idea to walk out at least partially, so again, it's not a game, it's more of an obedience drill. I'm going to send her for first dummy first, just because that's typically the more challenging one, because they're going to want to go for last dummy first, usually. Heel. Sit. Be ready with your halt whistle if she goes to the wrong one. Girl! Such a good dog. Good. Good job. Good. Drop. Ready? Yep. Good. Back. Yeah! Good girl. Look at you. Drop. Good. Good job. Good. That was actually much better than I expected. Typically other dogs I've trained, once we've just retrieved fresh game, they're not as enthusiastic about dummies. But luckily Liesel has retained all of her lessons, so I think that's a good last double marked retrieve to send a dog on. This is just a fun, easy drill that you can keep doing throughout the entire summer, just to keep them really sharp on taking the right lines. And then of course when you go hunting, if you ever shoot a double, they'll be familiar with this concept of coming back to deliver one and then immediately being resent out for the second one. Alright, I think with that, it is time to introduce our last new retrieving drill of the session, or rather of the entire video series. So I'm going to have to shut the camera off, we're going to relocate, we'll be back in just a few minutes.